My name is Hervin, and this is day 40 of the Daily Journal video series, where every day I come on and I document here our journey as we try and scale our company. And I also share anything cool that I find along the way. So let's dive right into it. Let me give you all an update. So today, I've done a couple of things. So the first one, so I had to jump on a sales call today, some team meetings with the team. I also did support for our clients, which has been a huge theme in our company for the if you've seen the last 40 videos, you would know that support has always come up, and it is a big problem inside our company, meaning it's a big bottleneck. And even right now, so we are on the 6th of the month, and this is going to be already just we ran a report today at the amount to see the amount of support requests that we have gotten up until right now this month, and we are pretty much at a record breaking pace in terms of getting the amount of support requests that we're getting. We're running around like chickens with our heads cut off inside, trying to figure out how to solve all of their client issues. Luckily, our team members are coming together. They're solving problems. They're helping out tremendously, and so super grateful for them. So in terms of support, I've been helping out, especially in the second half of the day. I usually come in, and at night I always reply to support tickets and answer clients' inquiries and things like that at night. So yeah, that's what I've been up to. As you can see here, I'm wearing the acquisition.com cap, and so I just recently today I got the Leads book by Alex Hormozi. I watched his presentation live. It was amazing. And also somebody who's truly inspiring, and somebody who I have learned so much from, even when he wasn't as big as he is right now, when he was just helping out gyms. We read his gym launch book, which, by the way, an amazing read for anybody who is a local business. Fantastic read. So we used to own a dance studio, and we read his book, and we learned so much from that book. So that I also got this other book by Russell Brunson, a marketing book. It's called The Linchpin. And yeah, so been diving into those two books today. Well, actually, just kidding. I've been diving into the Linchpin today. I just recently got the Leads today. And yeah, so really excited to dive into those two books. The Linchpin, I'm just going to say the things that I've learned right now are just game changer. Super awesome. So if you plan on launching, starting, you own a company where you do business online, there are key lessons in there that I think are really good, and so super worth reading. Okay, so besides this, I want to over here talk about because of the type of work that we do. We're a marketing agency. We help we help a specific niche of clients, right? So we help dance studios, and because of the position that I'm in, I'm able to talk to a lot of business owners every day when I get on sales calls, and I speak to them, and I find out, what they're doing, where they're at, what their goals are, where they're struggling, what they need help with, what they would like. And there's a something that stands out to me every time I speak to a successful business owner, which is the fact that they treat their business like a business. The fact that you have the successful people and the rest of the studio owners that I speak to that aren't doing so well. What I usually find, or an observation that I've had, is that they either try to do everything themselves, they're afraid to hire, they don't want to let go of control, they think that everything needs to, like they say, I just want to strive for perfection, but in reality, that's just them being afraid of letting go and delegating. They also say to themselves like, oh, I don't want to grow that fast, when in reality they're just struggling financially because their business is not making enough money. So they're thinking to themselves, I don't they s- as an ex, so they always give me, not always, but some of them give me an excuse of like, oh, I don't want to grow so fast, so I don't know if your program would be useful for us. And I always think to myself, I'm like, well, what is the other choice? Like, okay, you're trying to grow. I mean, we don't have to help you blow up your business and grow extremely quickly, make you uncomfortable. But one of the reasons that they say that they don't want to join our program is because they're afraid that everything is going to explode and they're going to lose control of the business or something like this. So it's ultimately what I'm saying here, and this is something that I'm realizing, is that these people that are not successful and compare, so the ones that are successful, they're seeing things as a business, and they're also seeing themselves like, how can I delegate, how can I bring on somebody on board that is strong at where I'm weak at, so that they can handle that and they can do a much better job than I can. And they see it in that way. They see themselves as they have their own strengths, and then they want to delegate the rest of the work to other people who are stronger than them at the things that they're not strong at. The not successful business owners, they're trying to do everything. They're afraid of letting go of control. They think they need to have their hands in everything. And so that's just something that I've observed. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is mostly because I have certain tendencies at times where I'm like, I need to have control, and not so much any, like, I've gotten over this over the years. This has been a process where I've learned to let go of more and more control. But and how to do that effectively, by the way, because it isn't just like, all right, here, take control, you run with it without any direction. Obviously, just learning to give direction in a constructive way, in a positive way, as opposed to just like say, here, doesn't matter what you do, just run with this. That's not how you delegate, right? So something that the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I look at that and I'm like, how am I being like that? So how am I wanting to hold on to too much control? How am I in my own way? So if you notice, all of the reasons that I listed there, they're afraid of letting go of control. They think they need to have their hands in everything. They're thinking that they need to do everything. They think that nobody else will care as much about their business as they do, which is certainly true. But you can certainly hire people who take pride in their work, and that's depends on how good you get at hiring. But it's essentially they're putting the responsibility. They're saying, people are bad, as if like the responsibility of picking the right person wasn't with them, and also the ability to know who to hire, know how to train them, know how to give them the process, and know how to delegate effectively. They're not seeing those things as skills that they can learn. And so me being able to see that and saying like, how am I being that way? How am I in my own way? All of those things that I listed, like, being afraid of letting go of control, not knowing how to delegate, not knowing how to hire, not only are they skills that you can learn, but these are personal things that are happening with the business owner, where the business owner is even afraid. Even if they lack the skills in terms of delegation, they're afraid of delegating because they think that they need to hold on control in order for everything to be okay. So it's kind of like a control, like almost being paranoid about the fact that somebody else is going to do a bad job or something like that. And so like I look at that and I'm like, man, if I have that in myself, I need to stop doing that. So where am I doing that right now so that I can stop it? So this is also why it's useful for me to see that, not to point at somebody and say like I'm so much better than them, I'm not like them. Or no, in fact, I see what they're doing and I see in myself how I've done those things, and I think I'm like, wow, this is the difference between the successful and not successful business owners. The really successful business owners that I have spoken, that I have spoken to, they tell me like, yeah, I want to make sure that we bring on somebody who knows what they're doing. I want to hire an expert. I want to make sure that we bring somebody who already has a proven track record, who knows what they're doing, who, this is something that I'm not strong in. I don't enjoy. I'd rather delegate this to somebody else. And so they see this as a business decision, and they are okay with letting go of control. In fact, sometimes I've spoken to a lot of really, really, really successful studio owners that have studios that are making over $3 million or $1 million. And I see the way they're running their business, and sometimes I'm like, man, they're not afraid of let go of control at all. Like they might need to actually bring it back and start getting back some control, because it feels like things might be a little bit chaotic. But because of the business owner seems like they're more like the idea person, and then they have a team who's looking after it, so it feels like it might be a little bit messy. But anyway, those are kind of things that I've noticed with the successful business owners versus the business owners that are struggling, is that the successful business owners are not afraid to let go of control. They know how to delegate. They know how to pick the right team. They also are not fearful about giving somebody work, delegating it properly, but they're not fearful about giving somebody work, letting them learn, letting them make mistakes, and yeah, just going through the process and learning. They're not afraid of doing that. They don't feel like they need to have their hands in everything. They feel like, if as long as they can bring in people who know what they're doing, they can focus themselves on the things that they are the best at. So yeah, that's been a huge lesson, something that I'm super grateful to be learning because of the position where I'm in, where I'm able to see these things and kind of recognize the patterns. When I speak to a successful studio owner, trying to observe what are the commonalities among the really successful business owners versus the ones that are not really successful, what sets them apart. And those are, personality traits wise, some of the things that differentiates them, those two groups together. The other thing too that I have written down here is skepticism. So the studio owners that are not really, the studio owners that are successful, although they might have some skepticism, it doesn't really prevent them from making decisions. They might feel like, can you really help me? Do you have my best interest? But they're willing to give it a shot. They're willing to try. I've spoken to some really successful studio owners that are they're like the easiest people to sign up for things. They're like, okay, if you could say you can help me, and I see here that you've helped some of my friends, let's go for it. I don't need to know everything. Let's just sign up. Like they're immediately like, I think like the way they feel about it is like, if I lose some money, I lose some money. At least I'm going to learn. At least we need to get some momentum forward. I know that I need help, and let's just go for it. Let's try it. Whereas the people who are not successful, they're more like, oh my God, I don't want to lose $1 here. I'm afraid that if I make the wrong choice, or, I'm afraid somebody's going to lie to me, and maybe, it feels like when they're speaking to me, like if I'm somehow lying to them. And also so they're thinking that maybe I'm lying, maybe I'm making up stuff, maybe I really don't know what I'm talking about. They're afraid of losing their money, they're afraid of making a mistake, they're afraid of investing. They don't see spending money in our program as an investment. They see it more as a like, oh no, this is expensive. I don't want to spend, all this money, when in reality, like, it's an investment, but they're going to make their money back. And I tell them how they're going to make their money back. And they're just like, oh, skeptical, like, oh, I'm maybe I'm afraid that you're lying to me or something. And so the people who aren't doing that well, they're just like really afraid and really skeptical of everything. And it almost feels like at the end of the call, if they don't sign up, they're like, "Hi, you see, I wasn't sold." As if like that were something to be proud of, instead of thinking like, man, could this people like really help me? And if they can do what they're saying they can do. And I know a lot of companies out there don't do what they say they're going to do, so I know that's out there, and I know this is why some people are skeptical. And it's fair. I'm not saying people should just be completely gullible of what they see out there, but a lot of people come to us, they have 3, 4, 10 friends who refer them to us, and they're still skeptical, which is crazy. It's like you have 10 people who told you that they've had really good experiences working with us, and still they are skeptical. And so this just goes to show you what the differentiate, like that skeptical mentality. I have, for example, studio owners that started working with us who 1 year after working with us, they literally doubled their studio size, like in terms of revenue, in terms of students. And they tell me like, oh wow, I can't believe like I took so long to sign up with you guys because I was skeptical. And so like being skeptical is something, it's definitely, you don't want to be a gullible person who just believes everything that anybody tells you, and like you just sign up for programs without doing your due diligence, without knowing if the company actually does what they claim that they're doing, without checking any of their success stories. Do they have testimonials? Do they seem knowledgeable? Have they done this before? And so without so I get it. You do have to do your due diligence, but having some level, of a skepticism is good. But beyond a certain point where you're not signing up for programs that would be helpful for you because you're so skeptical that somebody might be lying to you, even though 10 people have already told you that it works, that level of skepticism is going to hold you back. And so I try to look at that and I'm like, man, I recognize this as a pattern. Let me not do that. So it's just one of those things where because of the work that I do, I'm able to recognize these patterns and I'm able to see them. And it helps me because then I think about those things for myself. And I'm like, let me not make those mistakes that these people are making. So anyway, that's something that I have been thinking about. Just those two things there. I'm excited to get to dive into this Leeds book, finish the Linchpin book here. I'm going to keep reading. Right now it's 12 p.m., so it isn't as late as always. I'm about to post this, read a little bit, and call it a night. Besides this, just one last thing here to document is the fact that I realize now, and this happened today. So one of our clients talked to me, and I said something, and then that same client messaged us, and our team member was the one talking to this person, and they said something else than I did. And so one of the things that I'm seeing that is going to be a problem that we're going to need to solve is communication. How do we all communicate internally in our company, especially being an all remote team, is going to be one of another challenge inside our company. So I see that support is a big challenge. I see communication is also going to be a big challenge, and we're gonna have to see how we're gonna get everybody on the same page. What is the best way that when something bad happens, how do we let everybody on our team know when something bad happens? How do we make sure that bad news travels to everybody, or when something bad happens, or when there's a situation, everybody's aware of it and we know what to say, what to do. How do we share all the information that we have so that everybody has the same information, so that we're all coming from the same place, saying the same thing? When we're speaking to the clients, we're all saying the same thing. And so we all need to that'll be a problem that we would need to solve. So just wanted to document that. Anyway, really appreciate you listening, watching. Thank you so much. You have a great evening. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. I will see you all tomorrow.